Please report to conference room C17 immediately.
Shit, Sai. Get up. We overslept.
No,
We're going to be late.
we're already late.
That's not really a good reason.
2 more minutes.
Fine.
Fine, I guess we can get up.
I don't want to.
Me either.
You okay?
I want to go home.
Me too. But hey, check it out. If we were at home, we wouldn't get to enjoy this fine apparel.
Wow, hospital chic, huh?
Exactly what I was thinking.
What do you think?
You know, I don't think they'll mind if we're just a little bit later.
Well, there they are.
Sorry, we overslept.
Responsible does not look good on me, Fritz. You're supposed to be better than I am.
Don't worry, Nas. I still don't think you're responsible.
Well, thank God.
Come on, guys, take a seat. Cecilia was about to start.
Thank you, Mac. Please, make yourselves comfortable. My name is Cecilia Perkins. I am head of recruitment here, as well as your case manager. This is my second in command, Eric O'Connor, and these are our trainees, Avery Brown and Metrasari. We are the ones who scouted and recruited you.
Recruited us? Ow!
Shut it.
We belong to a small division here that specialises in finding individuals, such as yourselves, and supply aid where we can. In most cases, we provide intel and supplies remotely, though in some cases.
We have to spring you out.
Yes, exactly. Our goal is to support the resistance within the states as much as we can without making ourselves too known to authorities.
This is a pretty fancy joint for undergrounders. You get Fed raids every week or something?
Yeah, how are you able to do all this without Semper kicking in your door?
Eric, please. I guess the answer to that is simple. We aren't an underground organisation.
What are you then?
Officially, we are the Information and Warfare Mitigation Division of the United Nations.
Cognizance is a government organization?
It's not what you think.
Yes. We specialise in mitigating large threats, primarily the global threat that is Semper sanctions.
So what? Your job is to stop Semper from doing crazy shit?
Essentially.
Hell of a job you're doing. Those bastards blew these guys' apartment up, slaughtered an entire city block, and Mac was fucking kidnapped no thanks to you guys.
Thanks to us, you're all still breathing.
Please. It isn't as easy as you think, Elliot.
Don't even think about it.
Sorry. Jay, it isn't that simple.
You don't have to play by the same rules as us. You got all the resources in the world, and what are you doing? Sending us to schools and making us beg for guns? Pathetic.
It's not that easy.
It's not like you're lacking manpower. Blow some shit up. Kill the president. Do something.
There hasn't been a president to kill in over 50 years.
If all we were dealing with was a dictator, we wouldn't still be here.
Well, what are we dealing with then? Exactly.
AI.
Eric.
A what?
AI. That's what we're dealing with. Not so easy to blow those up.
Eric, please let me handle this. Almost 60 years ago, the United Nations came together to sign the Turing Treaty. The agreement prohibited unethical practices and included limiting AI capabilities. Well, the American government at the time was unstable to say the least, and did everything but honour the treaty, conducting illegal wetware experiments, violating every personal security standard of the time, and authorising the construction of artificial intelligence, well above Class 3. All under the shroud of private business, of course.
What does that have to do with us?
What's a Class 3 AI?
Creating anything more advanced than a Class 3 gets dangerous. You run the risk of creating something sentient.
Sentient? Like, it's alive?
No, it's still just a machine, but it becomes a liability when your computer stops answering your questions and starts asking its own.
But it's self-aware?
It's dangerous. That's all you need to know.
So Semper made an AI, a big one, and it's doing what exactly?
Everything.
They lost control.
We aren't even sure they were aware of what they'd done until it was too late. God knows the rest of the world was left in the dark.
What does that mean?
As we know it right here, right now, Semper Sanctions, as well as all that remains of America, is being run by the AI.
That's impossible. How does that even happen?
Citizens spent decades voting in lax laws for business, consistently gave power to those who abused their authority, and then when red flags were being raised, denied all accountability for the consequences. It was just a matter of time before something like this happened. It was barely noticeable when the AI shifted the narrative, changing what people were seeing, how they were thinking.
In any other circumstance, an advanced AI might not have posed a threat. Given Semper's ins at the White House and the control they had over the media at the time, add a few behavioral modifiers to the equation, and you've got yourself a dictator.
You said in the States. It hasn't affected anywhere else?
Contact with the United States was cut off once other nations began to realise what was going on.
What do you mean cut off? Where the hell does half our food come from? The Japanese hardware? The European news?
Open your ears. It has control of everything. You don't see something unless it's put in front of your face. You can't be underground enough.
So you knew something was wrong, that people would die, and you just left us to fend for ourselves?
We couldn't risk the AI interfering in other nations' affairs. It managed to manipulate elections in its favour for years before it got itself into chips. We couldn't risk the same happening anywhere else.
So, what does it want then?
It can't want anything. It's a computer.
That's not completely true. Maybe it can't feel, but it is absolutely capable of carrying out its own agenda. Obviously.
We don't know exactly. It's why we're here.
Make sure the thing doesn't try to nuke the rest of the world.
And what about us?
We're doing all we can.
Bullshit. Do you have any idea how bad it is over there?
I understand your frustration.
Like hell you do.
Artie, calm down. This doesn't change anything, whether it's rich men or their creations. Nothing's different, at least not for us.
A wise assessment, Mac.
But how have there been no slip-ups? Someone somewhere must have said something, right?
Well, there are individuals such as your brother who are recruited as children for their ability to withstand more modifications than the average person. They are taken, heavily modified, and often used as the eyes and ears of the AI. It's able to live through them, in a sense. We don't know if they're aware of what's happening, but with that level of modification, we doubt it.
Even that wasn't enough for it.
What do you mean?
Well, that's where Silo comes in.
The voice of Cognizance Overhead is Ramteen Vadati. Cecilia is Kirsty Hulivin. Eric is Daniel San Pedro. Avery is Cameron Docker. Metra is Andy Alvarado. Mac is Sebastian Roundtree. Artemis is Sheena Gilbert. Jay is DeAndre Anderson. Nas is Chromatest Jay Pantsmaker. Fritz is Harry Farrar. And Silo is Amanda Roundtree. Compromised is written and directed by Amanda Roundtree. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Compromised. Follow us on Instagram at compromised_official and Twitter at compromised_BB for updates and announcements. You can support this podcast with a follow, a share, and a like. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.